Hi there guys, Sam here, welcome back to another video. You join me once again in my Mark 7 Golf R to talk a little bit around like the perfect spec or your perfect spec for the Mark 8 Golf R or the Golf 8R. And yeah, let's get straight into this one. So if you're a subscriber of my channel or a viewer of my channel or anyone who receives sort of like community posts from me, recently this week I've put up a few random posts just asking for your opinion of like what options would you rather and going from that. Now this is not quite as straightforward as saying, oh, I'll just have every option because it's money, no object. This was more of putting out there as in, with your own hard money, would you actually option that specific item basically for your Golf 8R? Would you rather keep the price down and put your money into something else, or would you rather, think that that's quite an essential part of the car? And I found the results really interesting. I was really happy actually with everyone's participation in it. Each single question I think got a lot more than about 100 and over 100 votes basically in it. So that's really good. So it's going to be quite simple. I'm just going to run through it and basically show what you guys decided. You've all followed this channel and you interested in Golf Rs and Mark 8 Golf R. So I thought it'd be quite interesting to do and then share a little video on it. So I'll put it up on screen as well as I talk, but I'll go through it here. And the first question I basically asked is the paint colour. So again, I don't know actually what it's like region to region. I don't know what it's like in the States, for example, where paint options you get far better choice than you get here. Potentially around the rest of Europe is a little bit different as well. And in wherever other region the Golf R Mark 8 is going to be sold, like Australia, etc. But in the UK, I do know that there's 3 options. And those 3 options are white, black and blue. Which is pretty disappointing, let's be honest, but that's what we've got to go with. And I believe the no cost option is white, and then you then step up a few £100 for black, and then it's a little bit more for blue. That's my understanding. So I put that in there, and I'll put the results on screen now. So essentially, out of 138 votes, so thank you for voting, 53% went for the Lapis blue, 27% for black, 20% for white. Now, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I probably, and I've spoken to people as well, people who are actually getting the car, and they're sort of asking me what they want, how they want to spec the car. I probably would go for blue as well, but to be honest with you, part of that is probably because I'm in a limestone grey Mark 7, so it's like, well, if I wanted to go for something different, I probably would want to go for something a little bit more colourful. That's probably my personal reason. But I think for everyone else's, it is a colour that stands out a little bit more. I think the other colours look great. But once you start using these cars on the road, like this car can get absolutely filthy like it is now. And I still think it looks cracking. I actually think the dirty cars sometimes look better because it shows that they're being used, they're taken on, back roads and just to have some fun. So blue is the winner there. So that's, out of quite a few people who voted, 138 people. And I would not disagree. The next one I put is, do you think the Golf 8R looks better with the Performance Pack spoiler or without? Now this is specifically just about the rear spoiler. It's not about the whole other setup because, again, someone asked me about this and I was like, well, let's ask you guys. So I have 119 people. 84% said with the spoiler, 16% said without the spoiler. So that's pretty conclusive. Which unfortunately in the UK means you have to whack on about £2,000 to your asking price of the car, because I don't think you can option spoiler specifically. I think you have to get it in a package. Again, quote me if I'm wrong on this one. You guys know a lot more than I do as well on this specific subject. The spoiler, it's a bit out there. Whether or not it really helps with downforce on a hatchback, I don't know. I think it probably does add a small amount. But certainly from an aesthetic side, you can't miss it. It's not something that's, you know where your money's going. It's a big spoiler. The same one that's on the Mark 8 Club Sport. And like on this Golf R, and this is the weird thing for me personally, and this is where maybe I'm different to a lot of other people. I don't know. Who knows? I've always seen the Golf R as trying to be a people's car, trying to be that subtle sort of blend in. So I would probably go without the spoiler. I think it's a tricky one, isn't it? I certainly wouldn't be disappointed if I had it, but I think if it was my own car and I didn't want people, I didn't want to grab too much attention, I'd probably be quite happy without it. But at the same time, I do get it, and I do get it in conjunction with all the other crazy options that you can get on the Golf 8R. But yeah, there you go. Quite comprehensive, that one, which is a bit surprising because I always think people are on sort of two sides of whether or not that spoiler works well. And I think it's more the fact that without the spoiler, it just looks really, really dull. There's not even really like a lip, is there? It hasn't really got anything going for it, the Golf 8R on that side. So there you go. So the next question I asked is simply, would you specify the optional Akrapovic exhaust on the new Mark 8 Golf R? Now, I worded the answer slightly differently to the others ones, just to rather say, people just saying, oh yeah, I'll just have it. I sort of said, Akrapovic all day long, or stock exhaust and save £3,000. 132 votes, so a lot of people voted. And it was so close. 53% said of Akrapovic, and 47% said stock exhaust and save the £3,000. I found that really, really interesting. I wonder if I did word it slightly differently and I just said Akrapovic and stock exhaust, if the percentage would have been different. But I think it got hopefully into people's minds that I am talking about you spending your own money. I'm not talking about some frivolous, just, oh, I'll just vote for that kind of thing. And yeah, that was really surprising, actually. Really surprising. I thought it'd be like 80-90% saying Akrapovic exhaust. Because it does sound really good. We've seen it on some clips. I'm sure you've checked it out on my channel as well from, I'm sure, a video above. I've probably got it. Let's be honest. Both exhausts have quad tailpipes, real tailpipes, so they both look pretty cool. If you really like the tips of the Akrapovic, I'm sure there's something you could do to make it just the tips basically to change. You don't have to spend £3,000 on that. As for the noise, it is important in a hot hatch to be a bit antisocial, I guess, sometimes. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, and it's an interesting choice how close that is. And I'm really surprised, as, yeah, I really thought it was going to go massively the Akrapovic exhaust wave. So, yeah, there you go. Just edging it by a couple of percent. And the final one I posted, now slightly different to what I mentioned about just the spoiler. I said, would you go for the performance pack? In the UK, it costs £2,000 and you get 19-inch wheels, top speed increase to 168 miles an hour, progressive steering. I don't know why they called it that, but that's what it said when I checked through all like the handbook, as you will, for the Golf 8R. I'm assuming that's just drift mode, the other option, and the spoiler comes as part of it. For that, again, pretty comprehensive. So 80% said with the performance pack, 20% said without. Pretty similar to when I asked about whether you want the spoiler or not as well. So I think it shows that the actual appearance of the car is something that's quite important to people. If you're spending that sort of money on a car, do you really want to look dull and plain? Probably not. From what I've seen from the Mark 8 Golf R, I certainly think, I'm sitting in an absolute base spec Mark 7 Golf R, let's be honest. Okay, it came with a few options. They just basically threw in options in the UK. They threw in stuff like the winter pack. They threw in they threw in random stuff, which sometimes wasn't the standard. So you get sat nav, you get heated seats, you get all the stuff that you'd kind of want. In my 3-door manual, I think the only option on this car was probably the paint. You got the, I think it's 60% tinted glass as well on the rear. But I actually think it looks really, really good. I think, money well spent, personally, from my side of things. And that's kind of why I wasn't too disappointed. And there wasn't really any appearance upgrades anyway for the Golf R, certainly in the Mark 7 or even the 7.5, realistically. But with this, there is, I can see the sway, particularly on a brand new car. You're going to want it to look special, aren't you? I think if you were to get one a couple of years old where the hype's kind of gone down and you just wanted to enjoy a Golf R for a Golf R, I probably wouldn't be as fussed. But yeah, I think certainly in early stages, you want it to have that, particularly, you spec all this stuff up, you're £45,000. I want something for my money at 45 grand, trust me. I'm sure you lot do as well. And that's why with 118 votes, you went for that. But anyway, listen. I thought that would be really cool to kind of go through and to gauge your thoughts. I kind of was thinking about my audience, thinking about my subscribers, thinking about my viewers, and I was just like, well, what do you guys actually think? I can share my thoughts, but I also do love getting a lot of the community feedback. But listen, thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this quite useful, actually, in terms of actually speccing the car. Let me know in the comments, if you didn't participate in the votes, what you would go for, what your spec would be, what your perfect spec would be. Does it correlate with what, a lot of the community felt this week? Or would you go for something slightly different? Would you think different sides of things? I think again, from me personally, I think I'd either go with nothing and just enjoy a Golf R for a Golf R, or I would probably just go all out. Acroprovich exhaust, performance pack, dynamic chassis control. Yeah, and enjoy the car. Listen, thanks so much for watching. Look forward to starting to see some on the road. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. But yeah, please like, share, subscribe if you joined this video. It does help a small little channel like mine. It helps build the community. You know, I've got no sort of like outside pressures in terms of the way that I talk about cars on this channel. You know, it's just my personal opinion. You know, I'm in my Mark 7 Golf R, which I've had for a couple of years, 3.5 years. If I didn't like it, I'd tell you, basically. There's nothing on me. So I hope you enjoy that kind of content, and check out other content if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of the day, fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.